When humans showed their true mettle, the cold emptiness of space stretched endlessly, dotted with the distant glow of stars that had witnessed countless ages pass. Humanity had always looked up at those stars with wonder, imagining the vast possibilities that lay beyond. For centuries, they had explored, expanded, and even colonized a few distant planets. Yet no one had ever imagined that one day, those very stars would hold something far more terrifying than any human mind could anticipate. Captain Ethan stood on the bridge of the USS Vanguard, his eyes fixed on the monitors before him. The usual calm of his starship's control room felt different today, tense, as if the air itself had grown heavier. Reports from the outer sectors had been unusual, but what the monitors now displayed made his heart race. A formation of ships, unlike anything humanity had ever seen, had appeared near the edge of explored space. Their shapes were angular and sleek, but almost eerily organic, as if they had grown rather than been built. They emitted no signals, no communication, not even the faint hum of conventional propulsion systems. "This is unprecedented," Ethan said quietly to himself, his voice steady but tense. He knew the crew around him felt the same. Some had already whispered fears of hostile forces. Others clung to hope that it might just be a scientific anomaly or a lost alien survey team. But Ethan had learned long ago that instincts, especially in moments like this, were rarely wrong. The main console chirped, drawing his attention to a new alert. Civilian colonies within several sectors reported unusual scans. The aliens, or whatever they were, seemed to be observing human activity, tracking ship movements, and mapping military installations. The people at headquarters debated endlessly over communications channels, arguing about whether to respond with diplomacy or to prepare for battle. Politicians quarreled over words, their voices sharp, echoing with fear and pride alike. Scientists speculated, theorized, and sometimes outright panicked. In the midst of all this, Ethan found himself relying on nothing but observation, logic, and a creeping sense of dread. "We need a closer look," he said to his second-in-command, Lieutenant Myra. "Plot an intercept course, keep it cautious, but we need data. If these ships are hostile, waiting will cost lives." Myra nodded, her expression tight but resolute. "Understood, Captain, scanning for weak points in formation." As the Vanguard adjusted its trajectory, Ethan allowed himself a moment to reflect. Humanity had faced crises before, civil wars, resource shortages, rogue AI uprisings, but this was unlike anything in recorded history. No enemy had ever come from the darkness beyond the stars. And yet there was a strange thrill in the tension, a spark of determination that he could feel in every member of his crew. Humans had survived against the odds before. Perhaps they could do it again. Hours passed, and the Vanguard drew closer to the mysterious formation. The alien ships remained silent, almost as if they were testing human patience. The closer Ethan's ship came, the more he noticed the subtle patterns in their movements. There was symmetry to their formation, yet it was not random. It suggested intelligence, but one that thought differently from humans. The movement was deliberate, methodical, and frighteningly efficient. "This is not just an invasion," Ethan murmured to Myra. "They're studying us, learning." Myra's eyes widened, but she kept her composure. "Then we need to be ready for anything, sir. We can't just wait for them to strike." Before they could make a move, a sudden burst of energy erupted from one of the alien scouts. It moved faster than any human ship, slicing through space with precision. The crew barely had time to react. Alarms blared as Ethan's ship shook from the shockwave. "Shields holding at 70%, reported the engineering officer, sweat beading on his forehead. "But that was close," Ethan gritted his teeth. "This is a warning," he said. "And we can't ignore it." Meanwhile, on one of the outer colonies, ordinary civilians looked up at the sky in disbelief. Ships larger than anything they had ever seen hovered silently, casting shadows over their cities. Families huddled together, unsure whether to run, hide, or hope that the ships would leave. News channels tried to report what was happening, but information was fragmented and incomplete. Fear spread faster than any official communication. In the Vanguard's command room, Ethan and Myra worked tirelessly to gather every possible detail. Sensors captured alien energy signatures, tracking their speed and trajectory. Patterns began to emerge. The aliens attacked only in strategic bursts, avoiding civilian casualties for now, focusing instead on military targets. Ethan realized that humanity was being tested, watched, and perhaps judged. "Captain," Myra said after a long pause, pointing to a display. "Look at this. They aren't attacking randomly. There's a method to it. It's almost like they are selecting who matters." Ethan studied the patterns carefully. "You're right," he said finally. "We're part of a test, and if we fail, the consequences could be catastrophic." Night fell over the colonies, but space remained lit with the cold glow of alien ships. Families tried to sleep, but the distant hum and eerie silhouette of the massive vessels overhead made rest impossible. In homes, in workplaces, in schoolrooms, humanity collectively realized that life as they knew it had changed forever. Back on the Vanguard, Ethan made a decision. "We won't wait for them to strike again. Gather a squadron, prepare for reconnaissance and countermeasures. We can't fight blindly, but we can learn, adapt, and survive." Myra hesitated for a moment. "It's dangerous, sir. We could lose everything." Ethan's gaze was unwavering. "If we do nothing, we will lose everything anyway. Humans have faced impossible odds before. This is just another challenge, one we are capable of meeting if we stay smart, focused, and united." The following hours were a flurry of activity. Engineers worked on shield calibrations, pilots ran simulations, and analysts studied alien movement patterns. Every human aboard the Vanguard felt the weight of responsibility, knowing that what they learned today could save thousands of lives tomorrow. As the squadron prepared for their first approach toward the alien formation, Ethan walked alone on the observation deck. The stars shimmered coldly around him, beautiful and indifferent, and yet within that darkness he felt a spark of something undeniable: human courage, ingenuity, and resilience. "This is our moment," he whispered to himself. "They don't know what humans are capable of, not yet." As the Vanguard and its squadron moved into formation, a single alien scout detached from the main fleet, moving slowly toward a distant colony. Panic rippled through communications, but Ethan's squadron remained steady. They were the first human line of defense, the first to meet the unknown with both fear and determination. The moment of confrontation arrived. The alien scout hovered over the colony for a brief moment, scanning, observing, testing. Ethan's squadron approached, staying just outside the alien's attack range. Every maneuver had been calculated, every decision weighed carefully. And then, as the alien observed and humans reacted, it became clear it underestimated them. Humans were not predictable. Humans did not behave according to patterns. Every evasive maneuver, every defensive action, every countermeasure revealed ingenuity that the alien had not anticipated. For the first time, the alien scout hesitated. A tiny gap in its armor, a flaw in its strategy, became visible. Ethan saw it immediately. He gave the order and the squadron exploited the weakness, forcing the scout to retreat temporarily. Cheering erupted quietly aboard the Vanguard. It was a small victory, but a meaningful one. Humanity had survived the first encounter. They had faced the unknown and had not been broken. Ethan allowed himself a small smile. "This is just the beginning," he said. "They think we are weak. Soon they will learn when humans show their true mettle, we cannot be underestimated." Even as the scout retreated, the fleet of alien ships loomed in the distance, silent, calculating, and unyielding. The war for humanity's survival had begun, but the spark of courage had been lit. Humanity would not simply endure, they would fight, adapt, and rise. And in the vast, unforgiving expanse of space, the first signs of a resistance were already taking shape. The cold stars seemed to shimmer a little brighter that night, as if acknowledging the courage of a species that refused to be broken. Ethan turned back to the bridge, his mind already racing with plans, strategies, and contingencies. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, but tonight, humanity had proven one undeniable truth. In the face of the unknown, their spirit was unbreakable, their ingenuity unmatched, and their courage limitless. The morning after the first encounter felt tense across human space. Word of the alien scouts' retreat had reached military and civilian sectors alike, but rather than relief, it brought urgency. Humanity realized they were no longer alone in the galaxy, and the unknown force looming at the edge of their territory was far from defeated. It was patient, calculated, and far more intelligent than anyone had expected. Captain Ethan stood on the bridge of the USS Vanguard, staring at the star-strewn void. The alien ships had vanished into the darkness, but the dread they carried lingered. Every human on board the ship felt it, a mixture of fear and determination like steel forged under pressure. Ethan knew that waiting would not protect them. Action was the only way forward. "We have to understand them," he said to Lieutenant Myra, who was adjusting sensor arrays for another sweep of the outer sectors. "If we wait for another strike, it could cost hundreds of lives, and I refuse to let that happen." Myra nodded, her expression serious. "I've been analyzing their movements, sir. There is a pattern, but it is unlike anything we've seen. They seem to adapt quickly. We can't predict them entirely, but we can study how they respond to pressure." Ethan's eyes narrowed as he considered this. "Then we hit them where they are weakest, not with brute force, but with strategy, speed, and adaptability. We will make them underestimate us again, but this time we will exploit it fully." The Vanguard and its squadron were deployed to scout the sectors the aliens had passed through. Civilians watched with bated breath as human ships moved into defensive positions, ready to respond to any alien activity. Families prayed quietly, engineers checked last-minute repairs, and soldiers prepared for the unknown. Humanity's courage was growing, quietly but steadily, in every corner of the galaxy. Hours later, an alert rang across the Vanguard. A small alien vessel had approached a mining colony on the outskirts of human space. It moved cautiously, scanning structures, as if evaluating human defenses. The colony was lightly guarded, relying mainly on automated turrets and volunteer pilots. Panic rippled through communication channels as reports of the aliens' presence spread. Ethan and Myra studied the incoming data carefully. "We cannot let them test civilians," Ethan said firmly. "Prepare a team for immediate intervention. This is our chance to learn more about their behavior and protect lives at the same time." The team, composed of skilled pilots, engineers, and tactical analysts, quickly prepared. They flew in modified ships designed for agility rather than power, knowing that unpredictable movement would give them an advantage against a more advanced opponent. Civilians watched anxiously from the colony, placing hope in a few brave humans who were willing to face the unknown head-on. As the human squadron approached, the alien vessel seemed to hesitate. It emitted pulses of light, scanning the area, observing human activity. Every human maneuver was calculated, yet even their careful approach displayed unpredictability. The alien hesitated longer than expected, indicating it had not anticipated such quick, adaptive responses. Ethan led the squadron with precision. "Focus on observation first," he instructed. "We're not attacking yet. We need to see what it does under pressure." The alien reacted in ways that fascinated and alarmed Ethan. It adjusted its shields, changed direction, and tested the squadron's coordination. It was learning, and yet the humans were learning faster. Engineers on the Vanguard monitored energy signatures, noting flaws and inconsistencies in the alien technology. "Sir, if we redirect energy through their shields in this pattern, we can create a temporary opening," the chief engineer explained. Ethan nodded. "Do it, but carefully. We are not here to destroy yet, only to survive and understand. Every mistake could be fatal." The human squadron executed the maneuver perfectly. For a brief moment, the alien vessel's defenses faltered. The humans seized the opportunity to position themselves strategically, forcing it to retreat further from the colony. Civilians erupted in relief, watching the humans protect their homes with courage and ingenuity. After the aliens' retreat, Ethan and Myra convened with the engineering and tactical teams aboard the Vanguard. "We now know something important," Ethan said. "The aliens are smart, adaptive, and patient, but not infallible. Their reliance on constant observation makes them predictable if we remain unpredictable ourselves." Dr. Leora, a xenobiologist who had joined the mission, added her insight. "They seem to operate as a collective intelligence. Decisions are centralized, but communication is slower than we expected. If we disrupt their coordination, we can force mistakes." Ethan's mind raced with possibilities. "We'll need more than pilots and ships. Engineers, civilians, even remote stations can be part of our strategy. Every human can contribute. Creativity and adaptability are our strongest weapons. We'll turn them against themselves." Meanwhile, back at the mining colony, humans worked tirelessly to repair damage caused by the aliens' brief presence. Civilians and miners collaborated with military personnel, improvising defenses and reinforcing structures. Simple tools became weapons, old mining lasers became defensive turrets, and empty cargo ships were converted into makeshift drones. Every action was a testament to human ingenuity, and every success built confidence. Ethan watched the progress through live feeds, feeling a surge of pride. Humanity was showing its mettle, not through raw power, but through resilience and innovation. "This is what they don't expect," he said quietly. "They see technology, but they don't see us." Days passed, and the alien threat did not disappear. They remained at the edge of human space, observing, testing, and probing. Human fleets adapted in response, employing tactics that were bold, unexpected, and effective. Every encounter, no matter how small, taught them more about the alien patterns and weaknesses. On the Vanguard, Ethan held strategy meetings that included everyone from pilots to engineers. "We will fight differently," he said. "We won't simply match them ship for ship. We'll outthink them, outmaneuver them, and exploit every flaw. Humans survive because we adapt. That is our strength. That is our true mettle." Myra smiled faintly, inspired by the determination in the captain's words. "They may have technology, sir, but they cannot replicate our unpredictability. They cannot replicate our courage." And courage would soon be tested. A new transmission arrived from a neighboring sector. Another alien vessel was approaching, larger and more intimidating than the first scout. Its energy signatures were stronger, its movement more calculated. Civilians and military personnel alike watched the sensors nervously, knowing that the next encounter could escalate into open conflict. Ethan studied the approaching ship. "We have prepared for this. We have learned, adapted, and improved." The aliens will face humans who do not wait for instructions, who do not follow predictable patterns, and who will fight to protect everything they hold dear. The Vanguard squadron, now reinforced with civilians trained for combat and engineers ready to improvise, moved to intercept. They approached with caution, yet confidence grew with every calculated maneuver. The alien ship reacted as expected, trying to assert control, but the humans were ready. The first volley of energy weapons was fired, not with lethal intent, but to test shields and responses. The alien vessel adjusted, but human unpredictability created confusion. Each human pilot acted differently, forcing the alien to expend more energy in response than it could efficiently manage. Engineers on the Vanguard fed live data to the squadron, highlighting openings and vulnerabilities. For hours, the humans and the alien vessel engaged in a tense game of observation, reaction, and strategy. Civilians on the colony below watched the sky, anxious and inspired by the bravery of those in orbit. Humanity was not simply surviving. They were adapting, learning, and fighting in ways the alien had not expected. Finally, the alien ship retreated, leaving behind a trail of disrupted energy patterns. It was a victory, not complete but significant. Humans had forced the first real mistake, demonstrating their ability to respond to threats with creativity and coordination. Back on the Vanguard, Ethan allowed himself a moment of reflection. "Today proves something vital," he said to Myra and Dr. Leora. "They are intelligent, patient, and dangerous, but we are capable. We can survive, we can fight, and more importantly, we can win if we remain unpredictable, united, and resolute." Myra nodded. "Every encounter strengthens us. Every decision, every action builds our resilience." Dr. Leora added, "The aliens may not understand the human mind, our ingenuity, or our courage. That is our advantage. They may have technology, but we have something far more powerful: adaptability, creativity, and the will to survive." As night fell across the colonies and human fleets, the sense of fear slowly gave way to determination. Humans had faced the unknown and had not been broken. They had learned, adapted, and proven that they were more than capable of responding to threats far beyond anything they had encountered before. Ethan looked out at the stars from the bridge, feeling the weight of responsibility, but also the surge of hope. Humanity had shown its first signs of true mettle. The journey ahead would be long, dangerous, and uncertain, but for the first time, humans were no longer merely reacting, they were taking control. "We are just beginning," Ethan said quietly. "The real test is yet to come." But they will learn what every human knows deep down. When we show our true mettle, we cannot be underestimated, and we will never give up. The stars continued to shimmer in the cold, vast expanse of space, indifferent yet silent witnesses to the courage of humanity. And humanity, in turn, stood ready, resilient, and united, prepared to face whatever the unknown had in store. The silence of space was deceptive. Beyond the stars, beyond the glowing lights of human colonies, the alien fleet loomed, unseen but unmistakable. Humanity had survived the first encounters and learned the importance of strategy, adaptability, and courage. Yet now, the humans knew that observation and defense alone would not be enough. They had to take the initiative, to confront the unknown before the aliens could grow stronger or strike with greater force. Captain Ethan stood once again on the bridge of the USS Vanguard, watching the live feeds of outer sectors. His mind raced with possibilities. Every encounter so far had taught humanity something valuable about their opponent. The aliens were precise, methodical, and relied heavily on centralized control. Their attacks were coordinated, their movements calculated. But like any strategy, patterns existed, and patterns could be exploited. "We need to hit them where they cannot adapt quickly," Ethan said to Lieutenant Myra, who was busy analyzing sensor data. "They rely on central coordination. If we disrupt their communication and scatter their fleet, we gain the upper hand." Myra frowned thoughtfully. "We'll need more than just ships. We'll need intelligence, tactics, and unconventional thinking. Civilians and engineers can help. They may not be fighters, but their creativity will give us advantages the aliens won't expect." Ethan nodded. "Exactly. We cannot fight like they fight. We must fight like humans fight, with innovation, unpredictability, and courage." The first step was reconnaissance. Small, agile ships were deployed to probe alien territory, gather data, and test responses. Pilots executed daring maneuvers, skimming past alien vessels and retreating before countermeasures could react. Engineers monitored energy signatures, recording patterns of shield deployment, weapon cycles, and fleet movements. Every observation revealed weaknesses, however small, that could be exploited later. One of the pilots, a young woman named Kara, maneuvered her craft around an alien vessel with precision and speed. She felt a mixture of fear and exhilaration. The alien ship's shields adjusted, trying to predict her movements, but Kara acted unpredictably, weaving and shifting in ways the alien could not anticipate. Her actions, though small in scale, proved a critical point. Human adaptability could disrupt even the most advanced opponent. Back on the Vanguard, Ethan and his team worked tirelessly to convert reconnaissance data into strategy. Dr. Leora, the xenobiologist, studied the alien patterns with meticulous detail. "They seem to operate almost like a hive," she explained. "Decisions are centralized. They respond best to predictable threats. When faced with multiple unpredictable challenges, their coordination falters." Ethan considered this carefully. "Then we overwhelm them not with firepower but with chaos. We create multiple points of disruption, forcing them to make mistakes." The humans began preparing for their first offensive action. Using the data gathered during reconnaissance, engineers modified civilian ships and mining vessels for combat. Old cargo freighters were outfitted with improvised weapon systems. Drones were converted to act as decoys and distractions. Every human available contributed ideas and labor, from pilots to mechanics to civilians with technical skills. As preparations continued, word of the human initiative spread across the colonies. Civilians watched as fleets mobilized, repurposed ships gliding through space with surprising speed and efficiency. Fear remained, but it was now tempered with pride. Humanity was not passive. Humanity was fighting back. The first strike was carefully planned. A section of alien supply lines had been identified, vulnerable due to slower movement and reliance on centralized coordination. Ethan's squadron, augmented with modified civilian vessels, approached the target silently, relying on stealth, timing, and unpredictability. "Remember," Ethan said to his pilots before launch, "we are not attacking blindly. Every maneuver has a purpose. Every action must disrupt, confuse, and challenge them. They will not expect us to act boldly, and that is our advantage." The attack began with precision. Drones and decoy ships moved first, drawing attention and forcing the aliens to deploy defenses. Human pilots followed, exploiting gaps in shield patterns and weapon cycles. The aliens were fast to react, but their coordination faltered under the pressure of unpredictable movements. Ethan's squadron managed to disable several supply vessels, rerouting critical resources away from the alien fleet. Though the humans faced resistance, their ingenuity allowed them to adapt in real time, using every advantage the aliens had overlooked. During the battle, Kara piloted her ship through a tight formation, dodging energy pulses and delivering critical strikes against an alien supply ship. Her skill and courage inspired her fellow pilots, reinforcing the growing sense of human resilience. Even as the aliens attempted countermeasures, the humans' coordinated unpredictability kept them off balance. After several hours of calculated engagement, the alien fleet began to retreat, leaving behind damaged supply vessels and disrupted energy networks. Humans had scored a significant victory. They had struck boldly, forced mistakes, and proven that adaptability and ingenuity could overcome superior technology. Back on the Vanguard, Ethan addressed the crew. Today we learned something crucial. They may be strong, but they are not infallible. Their reliance on centralized control is a weakness we can exploit. Every encounter makes us stronger, every decision more precise. Humanity will not just survive, we will adapt, overcome, and rise. Doctor. Leora added, we've also learned that human collaboration is our greatest weapon. Engineers, pilots, civilians, all working together, created something they could not predict or counter. That is what they fear most, our creativity and resilience. As the humans celebrated their success, they knew that the battle was far from over. The alien fleet remained, silent and calculating, likely planning a response to this unexpected setback. Humanity had proven themselves capable of offensive action, but they would need to remain vigilant. Every victory was temporary, and every mistake could be fatal. Ethan spent hours reviewing battle data, analyzing every movement, and planning for the next encounter. Myra worked alongside him, coordinating reconnaissance and defensive strategies. They both understood that survival depended not just on skill, but on constant adaptation and learning. Across the colonies, humans took inspiration from the offensive strike. Civilians volunteered for training, engineers shared innovative ideas for defense, and pilots pushed themselves to new levels of skill. Humanity was not just reacting, they were taking control. Courage and innovation spread like wildfire, transforming fear into determination. Yet even as humans celebrated, subtle signs suggested that the aliens were learning too. Reconnaissance data showed slight changes in alien movement patterns, as if they were analyzing human tactics and adjusting. The battle had not gone unnoticed, and the next encounter could be even more dangerous. Ethan considered this carefully. We've shown them what we are capable of, he said to Myra. But we cannot stop here. They will adapt, and we must adapt faster. Our greatest strength is our unpredictability, and we must preserve it. Humans will not be predictable, not now, not ever. The following weeks became a rhythm of preparation, reconnaissance, and small skirmishes. Every encounter taught new lessons. Every decision refined strategy. Engineers improved shields, civilians contributed innovative designs for drones, and pilots perfected maneuvers that exploited alien weaknesses. Humanity was evolving not just as a species, but as a force to be reckoned with. During one reconnaissance mission, Ethan observed something unexpected. A section of the alien fleet was moving independently, slower and less coordinated than the rest. This suggested internal communication limitations. It was a potential vulnerability that could be exploited in future battles. This is our opportunity, Ethan told Myra. If we can isolate parts of their fleet and apply pressure strategically, we can force errors and gain advantages. We do not need to destroy them yet. We need to show them that humans cannot be controlled or predicted. Myra nodded. It will require careful planning, but we have the resources, the skill, and the determination. Humanity has shown true mettle, and we will continue to do so. As night fell across human colonies, Ethan walked on the observation deck of the Vanguard, staring at the stars. He thought about the countless lives at stake, the courage of ordinary humans, and the ingenuity that had allowed them to strike boldly and survive. Every success, every innovative maneuver, every courageous act reinforced one undeniable truth. Humans could overcome challenges that seemed insurmountable. They don't know us yet, Ethan whispered. They think they understand humans, but they are only beginning to see what we are capable of. We are resilient, adaptable, and brave. We are not just surviving, we are rising. Across the galaxy, humans continued to prepare. Every civilian, engineer, pilot, and soldier contributed to the growing effort to face the alien threat. Supplies were improved, ships modified, and strategies refined. Humanity was no longer simply waiting for the next strike. They were actively shaping the battlefield. The alien fleet remained silent, observing, testing, and planning. Yet with every human action, their advantage weakened. Unpredictability, creativity, and courage proved to be forces that technology alone could not overcome. Humanity's true strength was beginning to shine through, and even the stars seemed to witness a species discovering the full measure of its potential. Ethan and his crew prepared for the next phase, a larger confrontation, a more significant strike. They knew the aliens would respond, likely with greater force, but humanity was ready. Not just with weapons or shields, but with intelligence, innovation, and the courage to face the unknown. And as the humans moved forward, bold and unyielding, they proved something undeniable. They were not victims of circumstance. They were not passive observers of fate. When humanity showed its true mettle, it could overcome challenges that seemed impossible, strike boldly in the face of danger, and rise stronger than before. The galaxy waited, silent and vast. Humanity had shown that they were ready. The next chapter of the conflict was approaching, but for the first time, humans faced it not with fear, but with confidence. They had learned, adapted, and proven themselves capable. The alien fleet would soon understand the power of a species that refused to be predictable, refused to be broken, and refused to surrender. Ethan looked at the stars one last time before returning to the bridge. "We've taken the first steps," he said. "The next moves will define us. Humanity is not just a species, we are a force. And we will show them, whatever it takes, what it truly means to face humans at our best." The vastness of space stretched endlessly as humanity prepared for the battle that could define its future. The alien fleet, though silent and calculating, had been tested and disrupted repeatedly by human ingenuity and unpredictability. The humans had learned, adapted, and now they were ready to escalate the fight. What had begun as defense and small skirmishes was about to grow into a coordinated offensive that would push both sides to their limits. Captain Ethan stood on the bridge of the USS Vanguard, surrounded by the hum of operational systems and the quiet focus of his crew. The weight of responsibility pressed down on him, but it was tempered by determination. Humanity had endured, adapted, and innovated. Now they would strike. "We've learned their weaknesses," Ethan said to Lieutenant Myra. "They rely on centralized control. They adapt, yes, but slowly. We can exploit that. We can disrupt their formation and force mistakes that will give us an edge." Myra studied the tactical display before her. "We have the ships, the pilots, and the civilian support. We can coordinate multiple attacks from different angles. Their fleet cannot respond to everything at once." Ethan nodded. "We will hit them where it hurts, but carefully." This is not just about firepower. It's about strategy, adaptability, and courage. Everyone must play their part. Pilots, engineers, civilians, every action counts. Across human space, fleets mobilized. Civilian ships were retrofitted with weapons. Drones were prepared as distractions, and engineers worked tirelessly to improve shields and weapon systems. Families volunteered, mechanics worked around the clock, and pilots ran simulations, perfecting maneuvers that would exploit every known weakness in the alien fleet. Humanity was united, each individual contributing to the greater goal of survival and victory. The first target was a small cluster of alien ships guarding a vital supply corridor. It was a carefully chosen strike, large enough to challenge the aliens, but not so risky as to endanger human lives unnecessarily. Ethan's squadron approached silently, using stealth technology and calculated movement to avoid early detection. "Remember," Ethan reminded the pilots, "we are testing their responses. Observe, adapt, and exploit every weakness. Do not engage recklessly." Every decision is critical. The engagement began with a burst of tactical maneuvers. Drones and decoy ships moved first, drawing attention and forcing the aliens to deploy shields and adjust formations. Human pilots followed, weaving unpredictably, exploiting openings in shield patterns and striking with precision. The aliens reacted, but their centralized coordination began to show cracks. Kara, the young pilot who had distinguished herself in previous skirmishes, maneuvered her ship with skill and daring. She darted between alien vessels, drawing their attention while her squadron struck from unexpected angles. Each successful maneuver inspired the team, reinforcing the growing belief that human creativity and courage could overcome even advanced technology. As the battle continued, Dr. Leora monitored alien responses. "They are overextending," she noted. "They can handle predictable threats, but multiple unpredictable attacks force them to make mistakes. We must press this advantage." Ethan acted quickly. "Redirect additional squadrons to the flanks, disrupt their supply and communication ships, force them into chaos." The humans executed the plan flawlessly. Supply vessels were disabled, communication arrays disrupted, and alien ships were forced to retreat or risk isolation. Engineers on the Vanguard provided live data, highlighting weaknesses and predicting alien reactions, allowing pilots to adapt in real time. Even as the battle raged, civilians contributed in crucial ways. Remote mining colonies fired improvised lasers, drones delivered critical supplies to frontline ships, and engineers patched damaged vessels under pressure. Every human played a role, proving that courage and ingenuity were not confined to the military. Hours passed in relentless engagement. Energy pulses lit up space, ships maneuvered with calculated precision, and the alien fleet struggled to maintain coordination. Humans had transformed from reactive defenders to proactive strategists, using intelligence, adaptability, and collaboration to their advantage. Despite the success, Ethan knew the fight was far from over. The alien fleet was retreating, but only temporarily. They were intelligent, patient, and likely analyzing every human maneuver, preparing for a counterattack that could be even more dangerous. "We've achieved more than just a tactical victory," Ethan said to Myra and Dr. Leora after the engagement. "We've proven something to them and to ourselves. Humans are unpredictable, adaptable, and capable of extraordinary ingenuity. That is our greatest weapon," Myra nodded. "And we've proven it to the civilians as well. Their contribution was vital. Every person who volunteered, every engineer, every pilot, it all mattered. Humanity functions as a collective force, and that is something they cannot anticipate or counter easily." Dr. Leora added, "The aliens may be powerful, but they cannot replicate creativity, innovation, or courage. Technology alone cannot overcome the unpredictability of human determination." In the following days, humanity continued to prepare for the next phase. The Vanguard coordinated with other fleets, mapping alien movements, predicting possible responses, and refining strategies. Civilians trained as auxiliaries, engineers experimented with innovative designs, and pilots drilled maneuvers that relied on agility and creativity rather than brute force. Humanity was evolving as a force capable of facing a superior opponent. Ethan spent hours reviewing data and planning contingencies. Every encounter provided valuable insights. Every victory, no matter how small, built confidence and momentum. The humans were no longer just defending, they were shaping the battlefield. Then came a new challenge. Reconnaissance detected a larger alien fleet moving strategically toward a critical human colony. This was no minor skirmish. The aliens were preparing to test human strength in a more significant confrontation. The stakes had risen, and Ethan knew that careful coordination and adaptability would be essential. "We cannot rely on conventional tactics," Ethan told Myra. "We will need to use every advantage, every innovation, and every human resource. This is a true test of our mettle." Myra adjusted tactical displays, highlighting potential choke points, flanking opportunities, and defensive positions. "We can create traps, distractions, and ambush points. If we coordinate carefully, we can force them into mistakes while minimizing human losses." The plan required precise timing and collaboration across multiple sectors. Fleets, civilian ships, and remote stations would all act in concert. Drones and decoys would draw attention, while agile squadrons struck vulnerable points. Engineers would monitor shields and weapons, providing real-time data to optimize attacks. Every human action mattered, and success depended on unity, intelligence, and courage. As the humans prepared for the confrontation, communities across human space watched with anticipation. Fear remained, but it was mixed with pride. Humanity was not waiting passively. They were taking control, demonstrating that courage, ingenuity, and resilience could shape outcomes in ways technology alone could not. The engagement began with precision. Drones and decoy ships drew the attention of the alien fleet, forcing shields to adjust and weapons to fire prematurely. Human squadrons moved unpredictably, exploiting gaps in formation and striking supply vessels. Engineers fed live data to the pilots, highlighting weaknesses and predicting responses. Civilians in colonies fired improvised defenses, further complicating alien movements. The aliens, though intelligent and adaptable, began to show signs of strain. Their centralized coordination faltered under multiple, simultaneous threats. Decisions were delayed, formations broke, and openings appeared. Humans, exploiting every opportunity, forced the alien fleet into retreat after a prolonged engagement. When the battle ended, the human forces regrouped. Though tired and battered, the sense of achievement was palpable. Humanity had struck boldly, demonstrated strategy and adaptability, and proven that courage and creativity could match, even overcome, superior technology. Ethan addressed his crew, pilots, and civilians who contributed to the effort. Today, we have shown something vital. The aliens may be powerful, but they cannot predict us. They cannot anticipate human courage, ingenuity, or determination. We are not just survivors. We are innovators, strategists, and fighters. Humanity's true mettle has been revealed. Myra added, every individual mattered, engineers, civilians, pilots. Every idea, every action, every bit of courage contributed to this success. Humanity functions as a collective force, and that is something no alien fleet can understand or counter fully. Dr. Leora concluded, they may adapt, yes, but humans will adapt faster. Our unpredictability is our greatest strength. Our creativity and courage cannot be matched by technology alone. That is what they fear most. As night fell across human colonies, Ethan gazed at the stars. He thought about the countless lives at stake, the bravery of ordinary humans, and the innovations that had turned ordinary vessels into effective combatants. Humanity was not just surviving. It was learning, adapting, and demonstrating resilience on a scale the galaxy had not seen before. Even as the alien fleet regrouped, preparing for future actions, humanity remained unbroken. Each engagement had strengthened them, not just technologically, but mentally, emotionally, and strategically. They had proven that courage, intelligence, and adaptability were as potent as any weapon. Ethan walked the observation deck, reflecting on the journey so far. We've faced the unknown and survived, he said quietly. We've shown courage, creativity, and resilience, but the real test is ahead. The aliens will respond, likely with greater force. And when that moment comes, humanity must be ready, not just to survive, but to rise. Human fleets continued to prepare, civilians contributed tirelessly, and engineers refined every system possible. Each person, each ship, and each strategy built upon the last, creating a force that was more than the sum of its parts. Humanity's strength was not just in technology or numbers, it was in unity, intelligence, and determination. The alien fleet remained in the darkness, silent observers, learning and planning. Yet humanity had demonstrated that unpredictability, courage, and creativity could challenge even the most advanced opponent. Every encounter had strengthened them, every innovation had sharpened their edge, and every act of bravery had proven that humans were not to be underestimated. Ethan returned to the bridge, staring into the vast expanse of stars. The next phase is coming, he said to Myra. We have proven ourselves, but the true test of humanity's mettle is yet to come. And when it arrives, we will be ready. We will fight, adapt, and show them the full measure of what it means to face humans at our best. The galaxy seemed to hold its breath. Across human space, fleets were on high alert, civilian colonies fortified, and every ship, station, and pilot ready for the confrontation that could decide the fate of humanity. The alien fleet had regrouped after repeated defeats, calculating, observing, and preparing for a decisive strike. But humanity was no longer just reacting. They were ready to take control. Captain Ethan stood on the bridge of the USS Vanguard, surrounded by the hum of machinery and the quiet focus of his crew. Every person aboard felt the weight of the moment, yet there was a shared determination that made the tension almost electric. Humanity had adapted, learned, and fought back. Now it was time to show the full extent of their courage and ingenuity. They are moving into position, Lieutenant Myra reported, her voice steady despite the tension. Sensors indicate a massive formation heading toward the colonies. They intend to strike with full force. Ethan's gaze hardened. Then we will meet them head-on, but not as victims. We will fight strategically, creatively, and with courage that they cannot predict. Every pilot, every engineer, every civilian participating in defense or offense is part of this. Humanity is unified, and that will be our strength. Across the colonies, humans prepared for the final confrontation. Engineers worked tirelessly to enhance shields and weapons. Civilian ships were converted for combat, with drones deployed as decoys and reinforcements. Families and volunteers supported logistics, ensuring supplies reached the front lines. Pilots ran last-minute simulations, refining maneuvers and tactics for the chaotic battle to come. Fear was present, but it was mixed with pride, courage, and determination. Humanity had survived the impossible, and now they would rise to face the ultimate challenge. The alien fleet appeared on human sensors, massive and imposing, their ships sleek and cold, moving in perfect formation. Ethan studied them carefully, noting the subtle gaps, the predictable intervals in energy pulses, and the reliance on centralized control. He turned to Myra and Dr. Leora. This is our opportunity. If we can force their central command to overextend, we can create chaos in their ranks. Every ship, every squadron must act precisely, yet unpredictably. Myra nodded. Our coordinated strikes from multiple angles will force them into mistakes. If we time it right, we can disrupt their formation before they can attack the colonies. The first engagement began with precision. Drones and decoy ships moved ahead, drawing alien attention and forcing shields to adjust. Human squadrons followed, striking supply vessels and communication hubs, exploiting weaknesses identified in previous encounters. The aliens reacted swiftly, but human unpredictability and adaptability kept them off balance. Kara led one of the squadrons in daring maneuvers, weaving between energy pulses and targeting weak points in alien defenses. Her movements were mirrored by other pilots, each acting independently yet in coordination with the overall strategy. Every action, every decision, created small ripples that compounded into significant disruption across the alien fleet. Meanwhile, engineers on the Vanguard monitored energy patterns, relaying real-time adjustments to pilots and auxiliary ships. Civilian volunteers operated drones, delivered supplies, and patched damaged vessels under pressure. Each human contribution mattered. Together, they were more than a fleet. They were a force capable of challenging the unknown. As the battle escalated, alien vessels began to falter. Their centralized command struggled to respond to multiple, simultaneous threats. Communication delays caused mistakes in formation, energy misfires, and openings that humans exploited relentlessly. Humanity's ingenuity, adaptability, and courage were proving to be the ultimate weapon. Dr. Leora observed from the command center. They underestimated us. They cannot replicate human creativity, coordination, or unpredictability. Each mistake they make is an opportunity for us to advance. Ethan nodded. Then we push harder, strike where they are weakest, force them to retreat or be broken. The human fleets executed bold, coordinated strikes. Supply lines were crippled, command vessels isolated, and alien shields disrupted. Each victory, though small individually, compounded into a larger effect that destabilized the alien formation. Human courage, determination, and ingenuity had transformed into a strategic advantage that no machine or algorithm could anticipate. In the chaos, Ethan led a small strike team toward the heart of the alien formation, their command vessel. The mission was perilous, but success could end the battle decisively. Every pilot, engineer, and crew member involved knew the risks, yet fear did not dominate them. Humanity had proven again and again that courage in the face of the unknown was a power beyond measure. The strike team approached, weaving through energy pulses and disrupted shields. Engineers relayed critical adjustments in real time, ensuring maximum efficiency in each maneuver. Civilian support ships acted as decoys, drawing attention and allowing the strike team to penetrate deeper into alien lines. Kara piloted the lead ship, moving with precision and daring, striking critical energy nodes on the alien command vessel. The ship trembled under the calculated attacks, systems failing one by one. Ethan coordinated with his team, guiding attacks on multiple fronts to maximize disruption. The alien fleet, despite its intelligence and technology, could not recover from the multi-pronged assault. Hours of relentless engagement wore on, but human coordination, creativity, and courage held strong. Every attack, every maneuver, every contribution mattered. Civilian ships delivered vital supplies mid-battle. Engineers patched critical systems under fire. Pilots executed maneuvers that technology alone could not predict. Humanity was a force unlike any the galaxy had seen before. Finally, the alien command vessel faltered. Energy pulses ceased, shields collapsed, and the fleet began to retreat in disorder. Humanity had forced a decisive advantage, proving that courage, ingenuity, and unity could overcome even the most advanced and calculated opponent. The vanguard and accompanying fleets regrouped, battered but victorious. Ethan addressed the crew, pilots, engineers, and civilians who had contributed to the engagement. Today, we have proven something extraordinary. The aliens may have technology, but they cannot match human creativity, adaptability, or courage. Humanity has shown its true mettle, and that is something no enemy can take away. Myra added, every individual mattered, engineers, pilots, civilians. Every act of courage, every innovation, every decision contributed to this victory. Humanity is strong not because of weapons or numbers, but because of determination and unity. Dr. Leora concluded, we have shown them that unpredictability, courage, and intelligence are forces no technology can match. They may regroup, but they will never underestimate humans again. Across the colonies, humans celebrated cautiously. There were losses, but the spirit of survival, resilience, and courage prevailed. Communities rebuilt, engineers continued to innovate, and pilots trained for future contingencies. Humanity had survived the ultimate test and emerged stronger. Ethan walked on the observation deck, gazing at the stars. He thought about the countless lives at stake, the bravery of ordinary humans, and the innovations that had turned fear into strength. Humanity had learned, adapted, and proven its resilience and ingenuity on a scale unmatched by any opponent. They do not understand us yet, Ethan whispered. They see technology and numbers, but they do not see our courage, our creativity, our determination. Humans survive because we adapt. We overcome because we refuse to surrender. And we rise because that is what we are capable of. The alien fleet, though diminished and retreating, remained in distant sectors, silent and calculating. But humanity was no longer afraid. They had proven themselves capable of meeting the unknown, facing impossible odds, and turning adversity into strength. Every human, from pilots to civilians, had contributed to a victory that symbolized more than strategy. It symbolized the unbreakable spirit of a species unwilling to be defeated. Ethan returned to the bridge, his mind already considering future strategies. Humanity would continue to explore, defend, and innovate. The stars were vast and unpredictable, but humans had proven that when faced with the unknown, their ingenuity, courage, and determination could overcome even the most advanced threat. The galaxy may challenge us again, Ethan said to Myra, but we are ready. Humans will face the unknown, adapt, survive, and rise. That is our strength, and that is what makes us unstoppable. As the stars shimmered across the void, the human fleets prepared to return home, battered but triumphant. Humanity had faced a threat that seemed insurmountable, yet they had overcome it through courage, creativity, and unity. Every ship, every pilot, every engineer, and every civilian had contributed to a force that could not be broken. The galaxy had witnessed something remarkable. Humans had shown their true mettle. They had faced the unknown, turned fear into determination, and demonstrated that ingenuity and courage could overcome even overwhelming odds. The alien fleet may return, but humanity was ready. They had proven themselves capable, resilient, and united, a force that could not be underestimated. And as the vanguard and its fleets returned to orbit, civilians and soldiers alike looked up at the stars with a renewed sense of hope. Humanity had survived. Humanity had risen. Humanity had shown that when it was pushed to the edge, it could fight, innovate, and endure beyond imagination. Ethan stood on the observation deck one last time, looking out at the endless stars. We have shown them what humans are capable of, he said softly. This is only the beginning. The galaxy will remember our courage, our ingenuity, and our unbreakable spirit. We are humans, and when we show our true mettle, nothing can stop us.